Hey, good morning. Good morning. It's what, Sunday? Yes, it's Sunday. It's 49er Coffee Talk. Hopefully you brought a cup of coffee or something great to drink. We're going to have a good show today. I got a lot of people coming and going, stopping in and saying hello. And it's always fun to talk about football because it's that time of the year. I'm going to bring in one of our good buddies.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, good morning, John. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. It's Sunday, and it's a little early today, and I appreciate you coming. How's it been?
Just enjoying life every single day. Enjoying life.
That's right. And then it's really important to do that because if you could just try to figure out some way or another, in some way, shape, or form, to enjoy, what's going on in every day, you have an opportunity to, enjoy it, and it's about having good vibes, positive attitude, and things get better. If you're always gloom and gloom, then you feel like that gray cloud will never go away. So
Facts.
I got something fun to talk about today. They dropped an article about this guy, and I used him for my thumbnail. If anybody here is listening already, appreciate you guys as always. We got Bebop, Carcast, and we got Tony, and I see you there as well. Appreciate you in the comments. So the thumbnail is Jalen Graham, and they got it funny. Is he quarterback five? So the reason they're presenting that is because I think they're searching all around anybody on the team. Hey, can you throw? Can you throw? And then they're looking at their career, and they're going as far back as they can define that next person who could potentially take reps. So I know, the NFC Championship game happened, and it was really sad because they were like, "Who's playing quarterback?" And I just still don't understand. Juice is supposed to be our backup quarterback, and they didn't put him in there. They did have Caffrey coming in. Caffrey, I believe, changed his face mask and stuff like that, but don't understand that. And I joked a little bit about Jake Moody saying, "Well, I think he could throw the ball too." So maybe they're onto something. Maybe they're making sure that anybody on the team can take reps. And my wife and me were talking the other day, and she said, "No, yes." My wife and me were talking, and she said, "No, I'm sorry, it was Jeff." Jeff was talking and saying that the defense and the offense and like the players need to be well versed and be able to take reps at different positions. And I was trying to figure out. I'm like, I don't think that's going to work out. I don't think you're going to have like a defensive lineman taking snaps at quarterback. And he changed some stuff up and he was like, no, 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 no. It's going to be like the defensive line would be rotating with, maybe like the linebackers. You were there, I believe, and he cleaned it up. But I don't see every player on the field physically being able to take snaps or play quarterback. But this kid right here, the reason I thought it was funny is because the article says Graham played quarterback and he went 11-2. I know it's high school, but still, when you're 11-2, you did something pretty decent to be able to do that. And what the article says is he had a Hail Mary at the end of the one game. So they had just scored, told the kicker, don't kick it up in the air. Kicker's like, all right, goes out there and kicks it up in the air. The other guy returns the ball for a touchdown, and they only have a few seconds left on the clock. So they ended up going down in fourth down. They didn't have much time. There was only a few seconds left, and the kid throws 65-yard touchdown to the end zone. So doing that in high school, that's really impressive. Sometimes you can see kids in high school, and you're like, wow, he's got an arm. And some guys, just are really smart or big. I always thought it was fun going to play football against other teams. You could kind of stand on the sidelines and you can look, and you're like, just previewing their team, and just kind of checking them out. Usually the tallest player is the quarterback. And I don't know if that's true for everybody, but when we go on the road and they'd come and play us in our stadium, it normally was usually that 6'5" kid or whoever was the tallest seemed to play quarterback. And I don't think that's such a bad idea. I know other players who play tall, who are tall, tight ends and wide receivers. They always, and my friends who are relatively tall, always told me when people would tackle them, they always tried to take them out by their knee. And I believe that's the easiest place to get somebody down at, but it's one of those bad luck things. Me and you have the advantage of being short. So, when they go for us, they're more likely just trying to tackle us in our torso area or something, or just knock us over. But the bigger guys definitely have to have an advantage, like you have to go at them at a certain angle. So, what's your thoughts, John, on these quarterbacks and the Niners and all these articles coming out with anybody can throw?
Like I'm not going to doubt that Jalen Graham cannot throw the football because in high school, they encourage. Well, in my high school, they encourage us to learn, almost every position if you wanted to. The receivers would play corner. Even some receivers would play safety. So, safeties corners would play wide receiver. Even the punters would also do kicking. So uh, I'm not surprised about Jalen Graham. Being able to throw the football. Could be quarterback number 5. But I think Jalen Graham is I think more confident in his particular skills and the position he wants to play. But I will never doubt any pro athlete, that they only can play one position. And when it comes to the quarterback position, we can all say this quarterback is quarterback number 1, that quarterback's quarterback number 2. Kyle Shanahan makes that final decision. Fans will like it or not. But right now, what I've been seeing with all the videos on Twitter, all the videos on YouTube, Brock Purdy's out there. He's throwing the football. That's an indicator that he's healthy. Is it an indicator that he's going to be the starter week 1? I don't know. Trey Lance is out there. He's been doing what he's supposed to be doing. His teammates are raving about him. That's great news. We have 2 quarterbacks who are young, hungry, and with a lot of potential. So that's how I see the quarterback situation. But when it comes to Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen, um, we don't know what Kyle at the end, what's his end goal with those 2 quarterbacks. But when you look at the quarterback room, this is the best quarterback room he's had. No disrespect to Jimmy, no disrespect to Hoyer, Mullins, Beathard. Those guys are NFL quarterbacks. They're in the NFL for a reason. But at the end of the day, this is a good crop of quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has.
So there's been some reports coming out. It sounds like all the quarterbacks are doing good, one day, and then the next day, it doesn't sound like they had the best day, but no one seems to be like horrible out there. So that's very encouraging. And I also think it's interesting because like last year, we all thought it was going to be Nate Sudfeld, and he ended up walking, letting him go, and we everybody speculated and say, oh, maybe Brock will be put on the practice squad, and no, he's not on the practice squad. And I don't think that's going to happen this year either. I don't see them keeping 4 quarterbacks, but I do see Brandon Allen, possibly slipping out of the race. I don't think we can trade Trey Lance. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I don't know really about Brock Purdy if he's completely healthy or not. He sounds like he's healthy. The team sounds like he's healthy, but we know there is a reason that they went after Trey Lance. They want that option. They want that big arm. They want to be able to, go deep, just like this guy right here, Jalen Graham, 65-yard touchdown at the end of the game, like one of those walk-off home runs, that's where they're at. So I think this competition is definitely going to start heating up, especially with the practices coming now with the Raiders. It's just going to get more and more exciting because we're going to have more and more little snip clips and little articles to read. Also, Sam Darnold, he's got that arm. So I don't see them letting him go. I think it's going to be Brock, Sam, Trey. I don't think it's going to be in any order particular. I think whoever's, the hot hand coming out of training camp is going to start. And I think that's just going to how it's going to have to roll. And I really do have a feeling we might end up using all 3, not because someone suffers a season-ending injury or whatnot, but sometimes, concussions happen. Sometimes you have to sit out a game because of a sprain or something. So I see this being an opportunity for our team to really shine. And we were talking the other day, and it was kind of really fun. about quarterbacks and about positions in general and how players like there shouldn't be really one offense or really it's just one team, right? And then you have your starting guys, and then every once in a while somebody has to come out and you rotate them in. You don't sit everybody down at once because that just doesn't make sense. So you keep putting players in with your really good players to see how they perform. Because if they're performing with really bad players, that's that saying. They're just better than those other players, right? So if they're playing with good players and they're better than the good players, then what's that saying? It's saying, hey, this guy might be really, really good, right? So it's really interesting. Again, we're going to be practicing at the Raiders, and just recently reports come out. Jimmy was throwing interceptions to linebackers again, so I am excited because we're going to be playing them. So, John, what do you think? Do you think the Niners are going to really go after him? Do you think they're going to have a lot of reports? Because I don't think the Niners are going to release really much of this. I don't think the Raiders are going to release. If he starts doing really bad, I don't think it's going to be good for either team to publicly make this, open to everybody. And they say, oh, yeah, we traded him to the Raiders and he's still throwing interceptions. And the Raiders come out, yeah, he threw 10 interceptions and, practiced against the Niners. That's going to really sink the guy's value, right?
Yeah, I cannot wait for. I think they said the either Wednesday or Thursday they'll start practicing with them. So I cannot wait for. Uh, I think that's the day when we'll start to clarify a lot of things, not just the quarterback, but a lot of things what the Niners are going to be doing. And I think I do believe that there's going to be people who are going to be flying out there from the Niners, and they're going to be posting some of the throws, some of the things, and people are going to write, oh, if Jimmy threw interceptions. I do think that's going to happen because the last couple of seasons that we've been participating last year with the Vikings, everyone posted that the year before against the Chargers in 2019 with the Broncos. So they always post highlights and clips. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be shown. And if Jimmy throws interceptions to our linebackers, is what it is. Again, it's part of practice. At the end of the day, I want to see what our team does against. So our offense against their defense, our defense against our offense. That's what I mostly want to see instead of just the simple sound bites. Jimmy threw another interception. Yeah, that's for me that doesn't cut. I want to see how and who covers who like what defensive players will cover Kittle or Debo or how they're going to cover McCaffrey. Those are the things that I want to hear.
I can see it, that way as well. I think it's something that they don't want to overemphasize, and they're not going to definitely spin it, into a negative thing. But I think they're gonna, they'll show some stuff. Like you're right, but I just kind of feel like this could look bad for both teams depending on how they let it come out. If that makes sense, again, it's practice, but I just don't know. I don't think this is gonna. This might not be the best option. And, also, I don't know how many reps he's really going to get against us. If I'm so excited, really. So when we play them, I really like to see how our quarterback reps go down, because if we're going to march out our first unit, right, who's going to be taking those reps against the Raiders? And are we going to let, Brock out there and let him get hit by the Raiders? Because this is a live practice, right? They are going to be hitting each other, right? All right. So, good morning, Terradome. How are you doing this morning? And were you able to check the thumbnail? Quarterback five?
Just briefly, it said something about Jalen
Graham.
Jalen Graham. What's going on?
He's potentially quarterback 5. He was a quarterback in high school, and he had one of those Hail Mary throws at the end of the game, and he threw the ball like 65 yards to the end zone, and his wide receiver jumped up and came down with the touchdown. So, they're just finding articles about any player out there on the Niners who might have had a little bit of quarterbacking in them. I think the next article is about Jake Moody. I think he played quarterback in Pop Warner, and they're going to have some kind of magnificent article
for the the whatever city he's from, the San Jose Dolphins when he was in Pee Wee League. It's called Slow News Day or something like that. We don't have anything to do, so they're just trying to come up with good stories and features. It's an old news.
Yeah, good vibes. Something that you're like, oh, I'm gonna read that because that might be potential there. There might be something to it. The guy's not gonna take no snaps.
He could be the guy.
If we're arguing right now about our quarterback 4 taking too many snaps, then I don't see them giving quarterback 5.
Yeah. Oh, people will start losing their hair if you say, yeah, we got to get some more snaps in for 5 here. He was Pee Wee League All-American, ladies and gentlemen. He was. We got to look at this. We could have missed.
Yeah, we could have missed on this one.
Yes.
So, hey, what's your thoughts? We got John Jay here, and
John Jay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
I would like to get both your guys' thoughts on why CMC went in as quarterback instead of Juice.
I think CMC does. CMC threw one earlier in the year, if I'm correct. And I think you're speaking in terms of in Philly when we were and man, that was just a debacle. He's out trying to swap the helmet out so he can get the signal and everything. I knew this is bad here, man. This is really downhill. But I think CMC, man, he's got a temperament for it. They tried an option play with Juice. I forgot who we were playing. I think it may have been Kansas City. It was going to be an option play with Juice being the quarterback and CMC being the third option on it. And it didn't go very well. Those are my only 2 recollections of any quarterbacking either one has done. So I'd have to say, as far from a standpoint of throwing, we have seen more success with CMC McCaffrey throwing a ball versus Juice running the Oklahoma wishbone option. So when it came down to those 2, we said, well, we need a thrower here. We have nobody else. Let's see if we can just plug in CMC. I think that was the line of thinking.
And hey, that's a good point, because I'm sitting back and thinking, hey, isn't Juice like emergency quarterback, quarterback number 4? He's the Harvard guy, right? And he's supposed to know the whole playbook better than anybody, other than a quarterback on our team. But you do bring up a good point. CMC did have that triple crown. He scored a touchdown, rushed a touchdown, threw a touchdown. Just awesome, right?
Yeah, which game was that? I forgot which game it was. It against Los Angeles, or can y'all remember? Somebody in the chat, if y'all can remember that game. He played lights out that day. John might remember.
You're talking when we played against the Rams and McCaffrey had 3 touchdowns of passing, rushing, and receiving.
That's it. Okay, it's the Rams. Okay, yes, sir.
Awesome. See, that's why John Jay's good to have around. He's got one of those computer brains. He can just pull it out of a file.
He got a Google brain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's an option. Yeah, guys. So CMC, definitely a good quarterback, definitely a good offensive player overall. Do you guys see him doing that this year?
Oh, yes. We're going to use that guy doing, everything. He's, it's some kids, not kids. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just older, but it's some football players who are football players, and then there's some guys who are just savants. They usually are sometimes coaches' kids. What's up? What's up, twin? How you doing, man?
Good morning.
Some guys are coaches' kids, and they have a pedigree for playing ball. They're like indoctrinated into it. And Christian McCaffrey's dad was, with the Broncos, and I think his mother was a very good athlete as well in college or something, if I'm not mistaken. Even his grandparents were track stars or something. I can remember vaguely some things about that as well. And he's really just soaked the ball. I was hearing about sometimes when he was in high school, there was some pros working out. They were on vacation and they went into the gym, and there's CMC with his high school buddies working out like in the middle of the night, where most kids are out, playing and what we were doing in high school and in college. We were having our fun at 2:00 in the morning or 1:00 in the morning. This kid was absorbing, probably looking at film and lifting weights. He just that's kind of in him,
Yeah, most definitely, because his dad, Ed McCaffrey, he played for the 49ers and the Broncos, and, really good wide receiver, right? And, oh my gosh, he could have been like that missing piece. Everybody says the Charles Haley thing, and then we got the Deion Sanders, and then that put us over the top. Well, when maybe Ed Caffrey, left, right? Maybe that's the reason we didn't continue on, because, you got to have – I know we had JJ Stokes and we had Ty Streets and, Owens and Rice, but Rice did have that knee injury. In 97 went down. And then, from there, it just kind of, it's one of those things. But when you lose somebody like, Mr. Shanahan right there, and he goes on and takes his scheme somewhere else, it's kind of happened to us a couple times. Mike Holmgren did this to us.
Yeah.
It seems like a couple of these times it's these dynasties or whatever you want to call them. These, they're not really, they're not one hit wonders. They've been good teams for several years, but it's like, wow, even though you look at Green Bay, even though they only won like one Super Bowl, they went to 2 right there. Then they were still relevant. They come back, and then. So some teams just have it, and it is missing factors and missing parts. But sometimes it's like, I know they talk about, oh, my dad was in the league, or, my dad had this job and now I'm getting this job. But when you're grown up, or raised to look at that profession, you kind of are, like you just said, CMC knows if I go in there and I'm lifting weights tonight, I can be joking with my buddies and, we're all getting bigger. And, when you do work out, you feel good, and, you get some good buddies that are lifting weights with you. And, I'm not saying get a bunch of testosterone in you and, go do something crazy, but, when you are jamming, and it's about developing your core and you're doing it for your future. And I think some people are just locked in more than other people. So, Twin, what's your thoughts, man? I appreciate you coming on.
Good morning. You talking about CMC, correct?
Yeah, CMC.
How do you think? Continue.
How do you think his season's going to be this year?
So, in my honest opinion, I think he should be a piece of the team. I don't think he should take even more of a workload, though. Honestly, I think he's somebody that you want to be a weapon, but not let him be the identity of our offense. You know what I mean? I think that his skill set is, though it is unique, he can be used in the multifaceted ways, but we want to make sure he stays healthy. And I don't like to say this about our team, but let's be honest. It's like 6 years in a row, we had a different running back. We had 5 years in a row, we had a different quarterback. Now, just like you were talking about consistency, and him at a young age working out, his family pedigree, so on and so forth, you see like there's a consistent thread there, right? It's funny that we don't take that same type of consistent thread with our running backs and our quarterbacks. Like, if we go say he was born to play football, his family has this this knack for playing, their athleticism, just their mentality, their discipline, their consistency. There's a thread about that. And so with this team, there's been a thread with our running backs where we've given the new person who showed up and showed out the bulk of the carries, and they didn't sustain that for the whole year. And so then another individual came in, and then they took over the workload. I think since he is such a special and dynamic player and not like the other guys, I know Kyle, everybody says Kyle's system is his system. You don't want him to adapt and do something different. But at one point, can we do something different to get a different result? Meaning you don't have to take away the run game in its totality, but when you have the type of skill set on the outside that you do have, it allows you the opportunity to be a little more opportunistic when it comes to the ball, the passing the ball. My daughter wants to say hi to y'all.
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
That's my baby. That's my baby girl right there.
Hey.
But, you know,
anytime. I'm a dad too, man. You
oh, for sure. You know, I got a whole 4-pack of those. But so what I'm trying to say is I would love for Christian to be a focal point, but at the same time, I don't want you to lean too heavy inside of him as far as his usage rate, because you have so many other weapons that he can be relieved of his pressure. And then we all know football don't start to win December and January, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Our mentality is to play in December and January. We don't want to run the threads out on those tires in September and October and November.
True.
We have enough individuals to here's some carries, 5 to 7 carries a game for TDP, 5 to 7 carries for Elijah Mitchell or for Jordan Mason. Like, Kyle, you have to get comfortable with allowing somebody else that you might not be so sure about like you are with CMC, but believe and trust that this will work for the long run. You know, we have to have that mentality, because if again, I don't want us to burn out. I don't want us to get caught up in saying, hey, they're a run first team. We know we're a run first team. I get it. I love that we are. But I believe that if we prepare ourselves early on in the season to be multifaceted, it will help us later on in the season. So when our running game is still going on, our passing game can be just as lethal. Or if our passing game has to carry us for a little while, our running game can come and finish in the fourth quarter. So I want health. First and foremost, I want health. You know about this pterodon. If you get hit 300 times in a year, eventually it hurts.
Yeah, iron breaks down.
Hey, but if I tell you you're going to get hit 200 to 275, you can say, hey, that extra 55 to 75 hits you don't have to take, man. Take it. Give that to Brandon Ayuk.
Here's a phrase I think we need to probably ingratiate ourselves into: workload management. They say load management in basketball. We got to look at workload management and not, like you said, use up the minutes and the miles on key positions like running back and key personnel like CMC, and have him going all of this way, because everybody I think was looking at things in terms of, dang, man, we run the CMC so much. It was like, towards the end, it was like, give Jordan Mason a little burn, man. Take a little off of yourself. But CMC, he might be one of those types that I need 20 to let me feel like I'm in the rhythm. I need 24 to feel like I'm doing something. And we do have those running backs that are like that. They say, just give it to me. I'm there. And that run he had in Philly, when he some days you the stick and some days you the pinata. Yeah, he was definitely the stick in Philly on that run. That he had it for him.
And that's go be.
Okay, so this is a thought, right? If the reason Jordan Mason's not on the field, the reason so and so is not on the field is because they don't know the whole offense, right? Okay, so you don't know the passing plays. Okay, why aren't we rotating you in on the running plays? Why aren't we? I know we don't want to reveal our hand, but when we first started this, Kyle Shanahan era, there was a rotation with 3 running backs, and that was very deadly. It's like we had one guy who was your bruiser, one guy who could pick up the first downs. It's like every time it, and then you had somebody who was a home run hitter, and maybe we don't have that right now. Or maybe we do and we're not using it. And this is my point. If someone's not good at catching, use them at running, right? Why are we not letting Ross Dwelley run out there and catch the ball if he's supposed to have like the best hands on the team, and he only caught what 3 passes last year or something like that? Why aren't we utilizing these players if Juice is the best fullback and we know he can run out there and catch the ball? Why aren't we using our players like that? You know, I mean, why are we, oh, you have to be on the field and do everything? Not everybody can do that. I'm good at painting. I'm not good at, electrical. Okay. You know, I got shot the other day and I had the power off. Okay. Come on. So what's your guys' thoughts on that? Let's get to John over here, and then we'll pass it to Twin and then Pterodome. Okay. John, what do you think, man? Why aren't we utilizing our guys?
Yeah, that frustrates me all the time. Like, why do we have all these players and we don't use them? And I talked about, I think it was about a year ago when I was talking about Ross Dwelley. He has the best percentage in catching the football, meaning that he doesn't drop the ball, and any passes that is dropped or not completed is because of the quarterback. Either an interception happened or it was an overthrow. He has a good percentage of catching the football. Now, yeah, he does not have a lot of catches, but we don't use them. We drafted them. We keep bringing them back. Why? That's one thing that frustrates me. We draft all these running backs, and then we drop them in the depth chart. We drop them. So why don't we use all our players that we use? Is it true Kyle doesn't play the young guys? He only wants to play the veterans. Why don't we do this? And it frustrates me all the time because we have so much talent. And I'm tired of always having to say, I got to look at other coaches. They use all their players because they want to put the best 53 men out there, the best team out there. And they're using all of their resources to play all of their players. We don't do that for some reason. So it always angers me why we have so much talent on this team and we don't utilize it. That's just how I feel.
Pterodome, what do you think? Why aren't we utilizing these guys? Why aren't they, we just talked a little bit about CMC being able to throw the ball, Juice being very smart and knowing the playbook and supposed to be the fourth, quarterback or emergency quarterback. We know some of these players can do multiple things. So why aren't we doing that? Or is it just like I kind of said, Kyle needs somebody to be on the field who can do everything? And is that just like something like nervous thing that he needs to get over? Or what do you think?
Kyle's philosophy, and from what I have, really observed since 2017, he really likes positionless skill position guys. And 2 years removed, we had Debo, who pretty much invented the term wide back.
Yes.
He came to us as a wide receiver, but we utilized him a great deal as running back, and some of that came from injuries and out of necessity. But we have to be cognizant that if I'm a defensive coordinator, and we started seeing this late in the season 2 years ago, when certain personnel would come in and go in motion, and you knew what they were gonna do, you kind of keyed on that and you kept a sharp eye. Case in point, whenever Debo Samuels would go to the backfield, when we played the Cowboys the first time, they said, we don't care what type of motion y'all running. We don't care who pulls nothing. We're running the number 19. So when you bring people, specialty guys in, and you build up a trend, you build up a rhythm on that, it screams a tendency, and people will just say, okay, Dwelley's not in right now. No big deal. He's not going to throw it. But when Dwelley comes in, Dwelley usually gets the ball. They're going to be on that like hornets, man. They're going to, it's like honey to a bee. They just going to be all over looking at, your tendencies of utilizing certain personnel for certain things. So you try to make it positionless, try to throw some motion in. The principles of every good play that's ever been done in the game of football has to have 4 principles. It must create a mismatch, an opening, an angle, or a conflict. You need those 4 principles for a successful play. At least 2 of them, maybe 3, all 4 is an excellent play. So you can't keep on building things up and utilizing people just to do a specific task all the time, because it tips tremendously. I think we had the big thing on Trent Williams, I think last year, when he puts his foot back and they're passing, he puts his foot up and they run. People are noticing any idiosyncrasy, man. They just want some little nuance, and that's why you really can't go with every time we're gonna throw it, we'll put Dwelly in. That's key.
And Tara, just to kind of piggyback off that, and also we can't be so prideful and cocky to say, "Hey, I don't care if they know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna still tip it anyway."
Hey,
And it's not for you, Trent, honestly, because you can still tell somebody what you're going to do and stop them, but it's for the other 4 guys along the line that don't have the skill set or the capabilities that you have, that put them in a supreme position that even if you know what I'm going to do, you still can't stop me. So that's another thing. Like, we're real cocky, and so is Kyle. He's real cocky.
Yeah.
And I get upset about that because you haven't won anything yet. You haven't got the ability to say, "Hey, I'm that good," and you was never able to stop me at what it is that I know I'm going to do. And this is why I tell people where I don't mind Kyle Shanahan offense, but again, I would expand. I believe, and this is what I wasn't the biggest Jimmy G fan. I'm just gonna tell y'all this, but one thing I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Whenever Jimmy did get the opportunity to run a 2-minute offense, whether it was going to the second half or going at the end of the game, last 5 minutes of the game, where he's not necessarily having to hear all of these plays to kind of set something up, I thought Jimmy was a better quarterback. I thought he got the ball out quick. I thought he was able to anticipate. I thought our passing game was more fluent. But we know that that's not how we actually pass the ball. It's just only during those 2-minute situations, or we was doing a little hurry up offense.
Yeah.
I used to tell people for the last 2 years, one, why don't we use our running backs? Because we don't use them in this West Coast offense. And everybody like, what you mean? I'm like, bro, just take a look. None of our running backs got targets. First and foremost, we probably would have won the Super Bowl by then if we used that or got somebody to do that. And secondarily, we don't use enough hurry up offense. I said, I know we want to be methodical in what it is that we're trying to do, put the defense in precarious situations, but at the same time, my guy, sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's just really simple.
It is.
Sometimes it's just, hey, I can't see it. I say I got Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Juszczyk. I'm just gonna use those guys. And I can sit there and look at the man across them and say, you know what, Imano, I got the better guys. You know what? Half of this field, we on the hash line, on the left hash line. I'm a line. Brandon Ayuk over here on the right hash line by himself. I motioned Greg from the right tight end on to the left side to make sure, see where the safety is going. I'm going to say, hey, BA, you hungry? You hungry? I'm from the South. We used to say this. Feed the baby to stop crying. Feed the baby. Look, if that baby over there eating, man, as long as that baby got that bottle, he keep on eating, keep feeding it till it shut up. But then we'll sit there and see 2 passes caught. The next thing you know, hey, now y'all know how to do the memes. And 3 quarters later,
and like, 3 quarters later, and to that, you know, it's sometimes when you're a little stagnant in the game, and I see some teams, man, they just go up tempo. It could be the second quarter, it could be the third quarter. They just go no huddle, and they just get into their. We just need to do some things. We just need to go. We just need to go, and we never utilize that. We never use that. You know, that club's in the bag. Just go into your 2-minute in the third quarter. Go into your 2-minute on the second quarter possession or something. If you're a little stagnant, I would like to see that diversity in there as well, to your point.
And not, I'm sorry, just a quick little thought, not to mention that as well. I mean, to mention that and add on to this. I believe that we have we have supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as our god doggone plays, okay? Our plays are long as Shaq feet. You see what I'm saying? So our plays take at least 15 seconds to get it out the huddle. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. I be watching stuff. I am an observer. I look at the play clock. We in the huddle at 20 seconds, at 17 seconds, at 15, and then we finally break. And y'all know it's mandatory for us to do what once we break.
You got to go into motion, pre-snap motion. We
So-
gonna do
So,
some.
so we took
you better have it.
we
Yeah,
took the whole clock
yeah.
to get
We
the
gonna
play
use it.
out. Then we
Yeah.
have the motion, so you can't do nothing after you get to the line. The LO, I mean, to
Agreed.
the line of scrimmage to actually hike the ball,
Yeah.
and then you got it's go time. And I'll be like, listen, guys, can we just get 15 to 20 plays where we got short form, abbreviated plays, so that we can I think this will help our offense so much. But
Oh,
not
yeah.
only help our offense, I believe this will give confidence to our quarterback.
Yes.
I think it would give confidence to our wide receiver. Say, hey, Kyle, I see that you're trusting me.
Yeah.
I see that you are willing to rely some responsibility upon my shoulders. And know what I'm gonna do for that? Because you trusted me, Terradome, BC. You know what you're going to say? You're going to feel empowered. Say, you know what? I don't want to let you down, coach.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna go out here and play the best for you. You know what I'm saying?
Because you loan me the keys to the car, I'm gonna make sure it's washed and have full tank of gas. So you let me do it the next time. That's what you do when somebody ingratiates himself to you. You know.
So I've had this conversation with Ryan a couple times, and I think that I don't have the whole thing down, but looking at someone else, because you can't be in another man's head. You can think, oh, I understand what he's doing, but you're not. The guy's like, whatever, right? I was thinking this and you're thinking that. No. So getting to it, I think the reason they do this they do it by design is to keep our defense off the field. When you guys have seen these 14-minute quarters, it's 15 minutes and a quarter, and we go down and take 11 or 12 minutes, 14 minutes. I remember seeing that one time. And we run, 11, 13, 14 plays in one drive, and we just milk that clock. That clock is all the way down. Yeah. So I think Kyle, in a way, he's like, I don't want to give the defense any time. So we are going to go as slow as possible, but as fast as possible we need to go. And I think that's really neat, but it takes a lot of time. And, for us, we're sitting there and we're like, man, you are wasting so much time. Let's go. So, I'm not the biggest Jimmy supporter, and I'm not a hater either. I have 3 jerseys in my house. That man made me get 3. Nobody makes you do anything, but my daughter got a jersey, my wife and me, that 2017, 5 games in a row. I thought we found our next young, so I'm like, we're going, right? So, family, was all supporting them, right? I was at the Packer game, 2 years ago, I believe it was, where Juice didn't score. He scored too fast, and then what happens? A kicker goes down and kicks the field goal. And then, it's because why? Because a quarterback, like what you're saying, has the ability to throw it down the field. And, he threw it over our linebacker. Fred Warner got really close to it. And, boom, that's what happened. You have that much time and you give the other opponent that much time to come back in. And a lot of teams can't do that. Would we have been able to come back and score that fast? Not without a gadget play or something, right? I mean, we need Jimmy Garoppolo to really be miracle out there. One thing about me, and I'm going to pass it to John so he can say something, but one thing is when Jimmy threw an interception, I was mad. I was super mad. I took the jersey off. I put it on my chair next to me, because I don't like throwing jerseys on the ground unless you really need it on the ground. Sometimes they get hit, and they start, hey, man, where'd that come from? I need to, that's when you can go pick it up after he starts doing good, right?
Oh, okay.
So my dad, this is funny real quick. My dad got a Brett Favre jersey from my uncle. Big Packer fan, big. But my dad's a Raider fan. So every time the Raiders would play the Packers, my dad would take the jersey out of his drawer and throw it in front of the TV on the floor. And if Green Bay did something, Brett Favre did something, he's like, come on, boys, let's stomp on the jersey. So we'd go right across the jersey a couple of times, and we just have fun. But no hate towards anybody. My dad, he loves his brother, and anybody can root for anything. But guys, Jimmy would throw that interception, and then the next drive, I was confident he was coming out and scoring. And I don't know if that was just because of Shanahan or Jimmy was like, I know we can score, and confident in himself. So let's give it to John, and then we're going to go back around again. John, what's your thoughts on that? Why are we, maximizing the whole amount of time and the playbook? And is it really helpful to our defense?
Since Kyle has been the head coach and I have, learned how he coaches and the way his playbook is set up, I think everyone knows already his playbook is one of the most complicated playbooks. And when it comes to how he feels about that playbook, he's very protective.
Oh yeah.
Now, when it comes to how we run our plays, how we run the offense, like for me, the question that I have is like, does it really matter if Kyle says, let's speed it up or let's slow it down? Let's speed it up, let's slow it down. Because in the NFL, the goal is, to get the ball and go down the field and score a touchdown. That's the goal of it. So here's an example. When we played against the Jaguars, we ran 13 plays and we ran about 13 minutes off the clock. Kyle's going to do that. There's some moments where like we get the ball and in 4 plays we score a touchdown. So for me, I don't know if Kyle like wants to change it up to like, oh, we're going to go fast and we're going to go slow. We're going to go fast. We're going. So for me, I don't understand why we cannot just have that the speed and not change it up, or like run like 10 times and then throw the ball 10 times. It makes no sense to me how, because if you want to confuse the defense, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, eventually the defense is going to start to catch up. Doesn't matter how smart you are as a coach. So sometimes you do have to really, if you want to really, really get the defense off guard, you have to know what you're doing. And sometimes he also moves motions. He's the only head coach that motions his offensive line over 60% of the time. So Kyle will go fast, slow, or he will, confuse the defense. So for me, when I look at Kyle, the way he coaches, I tell myself, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something fun's going to happen.
Awesome. Terry, let's get your thoughts. Good morning, David. Thanks for coming. And then we'll go to Twin, and then we're going to go to David.
Hey, Dave. Good to see you, man.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
good morning. Yeah, it's a method behind the madness with Kyle. I think I shared with you guys. I look at different coaching styles and play calling styles. There's I call it Davisonian kind of Lombardi way of doing it. I'm coming. Al Davis used to say, "Hey, we're gonna throw this ball deep, and this is who we are. That's just what it is." And the Green Bay Packers said the power sweep is coming. You know it, I know it, everybody at home knows it. This is what I'm doing, and you try to stop it. There's the Patriot way of every week a new game plan to devise a new person, a new way of doing it. Every time they develop a new game plan, they use the Earnhardt Perkins offense. They would just tag a route concept ghost and tag another one tosser, and they say 73 ghost tosser, and it had choice routes, and Tom just made the decisions reading people. But with Kyle, I call it he's a narrator. He's a methodical narrator. He's running out of multiple sets, multiple motions, these really long plays, and he is setting you up for the third quarter. He's setting you up for the fourth quarter. He'll run it at you and run it at you again. And sometimes it looks like what we call throwaway moves, throwaway plays, something so regular, that toss sweep. I'm like, why do you keep running that toss sweep? I hate the toss sweep. Don't throw that ball back 5 yards to get 2 yards. Stop doing that. But he's setting something up. He's making them react to the same thing, seeing where the little, where the fish is, where the possum is, and we're going to hit them in the third quarter. And with the play calling as well, time of possession with a methodical play caller, a narrator, is really key to him. But you're going to have opportunities and you're going to have times when you need to score quick and you need to dance inside of 2 minutes, because it's not always going to just set up. Everybody doesn't have the script, and defenses aren't going to coordinate and give you an Emmy. Sometimes you're going to be in some shootouts and you're going to have to make some stuff happen. And it would have been good to have ingratiated that into our playbook a little bit more during the season than to wait and try to break it out in the Super Bowl when you're down 4 or 5 points.
Well said.
And look, Exactly. And again, this is not saying Kyle's not a good coach or nothing of that nature. It's just an observer of football over the last umpteen amount of years that I'm looking and like, I don't mind. Like TOP, we all know that TOP is very important in football. Most team that has the higher TOP usually win the game, especially if you don't turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over and you have time of possession, and for now you run 25, 30 times a game, you're probably going to win the football. It's like an 85, 90% chance you're going to win.
Yeah.
I get that. But when we're talking about that's against most teams that aren't as talented as you, you will win 80 to 85% of the time. But we know again, when you play against teams just all right, they're here with you, they're right here, or sometimes even be like right there, you're gonna have more tools in your toolbox, man. I like to say this. I play football and I play basketball as well. I always like to use basketball analogies, kind of help bring in a little thing. And basketball in the playoffs, they say you want a 3-level score. Somebody can score 23, 25 feet. Somebody from the 20 to the 18, that's the mid range. Somebody can finish the basketball around the rim in a great or a good free throw shooter. So that's anywhere between 82 to like 87% from the free throw line. Like that's cool to go with because in the playoffs, they're going to have a counter to your counter to your counter to your counter. Okay. Every level that you go up, you are meeting guys that are right here on par with you. And so if you are more diversified in what it is that you can do offensively, when the defense begins to hone in on you, you're comfortable. Okay, today's mid-range day. Oh, today I got to post up today. Today, the outsides are working for me. And so that's why I be thinking about Kyle Shanahan. He has the personnel to be a multi-level scorer, whether it's from running the ball, screening, tight ends, into the outside with the wide receivers. Is that you got to give these guys confidence throughout the season that you trust and believe that when the time comes, this is not something that's new to you. This is something that you already are. You true to it already. You see what I'm saying? I've been in this situation week 3. I've been in this situation week 6. I'm kind of comfortable. I've seen that when I look at Kyle look at me, we're like, hey, we've done this before. We can go back and look at our past to understand how our future can be predicted almost. And so that's my thing with Kyle Shanahan. Is like, hey, man, you have more than enough tools to go out here and be multifaceted. And also, if you look at the old 49ers back in the day, we used to beat people. Look, hey, defense, you should worry about getting tired. We're going to beat you so bad. Gary ain't playing in the fourth quarter. Steve ain't playing in the fourth quarter. But guess what? We up by double digits. You see what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about tiring out the defense because we are beating the brakes off you. And that's a mentality, though. I'm not trying to just sit here and win the time of possession game. I'm trying to look at you and show you that not only am I better than you, but I'm going to put my foot on your neck.
Yes.
I'm going to squeeze it till you cannot breathe no more. Your trachea is discombobulated. Like, this member from your throat, your thorax is busted and boom. Like, I'm doing all of this to you, and I don't care. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's what I think we have on our team. We got to get to the point where, hey, we cool with riding this way, but we got to say, you know what? We've been talking that talk for the last 3 to 5 years. We finna really just dominate.
Yeah.
I agree. There's been a certain point that we've been lacking, and it's quarterback. It's quarterback ability. And, Jeff Garcia, great guy, really, appreciate all the wins and everything, but you weren't what we needed. Steve Young was what we needed. And before I get too far into this, let me bring David in. I want to give David a piece. Just let him load up. But David, we're gonna go around. This is gonna get pretty fun here in a second. What's your thoughts on the way we run our offense? Utilize our play, time of possession. What's your thoughts? Is it helping our defense when we take all that time off the clock? And do you like it? And are we moving in the right direction by just ground and pound? Basically, we know we have a big quarterback. We know we have actually several people that can throw the ball deep, but we continue to, not dink and dunk, but we're, slowly going down the field and taking all the time off the clock. What's your thoughts?
Well, I see guys that are reporting on our practices calling a 35-yard pass a deep pass, and it's kind of like I think you guys are too used to seeing James Richard Garoppolo, who can't throw past 25 yards. I mean, the 35 yards, in my opinion, is a mid-range pass. A guy that can bomb it down there 50 yards in a hurry. That's a good deep ball. And we actually have a couple guys that can do that. Now I'm going to give Brock a break because he's coming back off a major injury, and he tried throwing one and it just kind of fizzled. But like I said, he's still rehabbing. He's on a schedule set forth. The 49ers claim it's their schedule, but I'm kind of thinking it might be something the doctors handed him, because the kid's still rehabbing. He's cleared for practice. They never said he was cleared for a game.
True.
So, and well, hopefully everything works out and, the kid's back fully by week 1. But we'll just have to see how all that rolls out, And at this point, I would like to see someone that has a strong deep ball just because of the fact that it opens up the playbook. Kyle has a playbook, and it's not all dink and dunk and short stuff. I'm sure he has some plays for deep balls, and with a quarterback that can throw a laser 50 yards, the defense has to play it straight up. They have to respect that. They're not going to be stacking 8 guys in the box to stop the run. So, there's several reasons why I'd like to see a QB like that. And Brock, when his arm was strong before the injury, he could throw the ball, 36, 40 yards pretty quick. The deeper balls, maybe not so much, but that would even open up the playbook a little bit and make defenses have to respect that. So, with James at QB, it was simple how to play our offense. You had stack 8 in the box, and you make him have to throw the ball.
Middle of the field.
And now we have a couple guys, and I'm not including Sam Darnold at this point because he's always practiced well, but when he gets in the game, he kind of, he hasn't done that great. But shout out to the Panthers, though. He did go 4-2 with them last year, with Steve Wilkes. So,
Yeah. So I'm thinking okay, we get back into this and I want everybody's thoughts. We haven't had a quarterback with an arm since Young. Garcia could do decent, but we had a player like Debo with Owens. Owens could get that ball when the ball is in his hands. Look out. I'm not trusting him every time to catch the ball, but I am trusting when he gets that ball, that boy is running down the field and he's going to score. He's going to run somebody over too. You guys seen how big T.O. was. He's
a monster. Yeah.
So, I'm not bashing Garcia and I'm not bashing Alex Smith, but when Alex Smith came onto the team, he was the wrong pick. It's not hindsight. It was just the wrong pick. I think Terradome mentioned this before. He needed time to develop. Oh, it's okay. We're going to develop. And, the Niners are rebuilding. We totally just gutted our locker room. We gutted our coaching staff. Now, we're in transition with our owner. So it's okay to suck for a couple of years. No, it's not. And because they went into that mentality and said, we're going to take time with Alex, we lost several years, good years. So we call those the dark years, my high school years. All right. So we're going to move on, right? Alex Smith got hurt his first season with the Niners. When he got hurt, we were moving on. Every year we tried to get a different quarterback. Every year. 1 year we had 4 quarterbacks during his tenure. I think it was 2007. Then Kaepernick came in and he finally had that ability, right? I don't know what he didn't have. We all seen he had a laser arm. We seen, he could run. He had a lot of intangibles, right? But then there were some times people said he didn't have touch or whatever. I believe you can learn that. There's times people said he couldn't read the defense. That's why he always took off and run. That could be true too. But we moved off of him because Kyle come in. Kyle didn't want to develop him. He didn't want to work with him. He wanted his own guy, right? You went to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, who did have the ability to throw downfield. You don't go after him. You're stuck on Kirk Cousins, which is fine, but you didn't get him. I don't think anyone likes that. I think if he would have got him to begin with, I think everybody would have complained and cried a little bit. But with the wins coming, I think everybody would have been happy, right? The whole primetime thing, everything could have been all out the door because he would have been the history would have been different, right? The same thing with Sam Darnold. We tried to get Sam Darnold a couple of years ago because he has that ability to throw the ball deep. But 55 games later, or so many starts after that, now he's seeing ghosts, and nobody wants to believe he can be rebuilt. Well, no, we're not Clay, and you can't just shape us into anything, but you can, teach people and train people. But we know Kyle's not a trainer. He's a coordinator. He's an offensive playmaker. He's great. We know he can scheme up something, but you haven't found a quarterback. You haven't done it because of your ego. I really hope, he can hear this, because I really truly think he can do it, but I think he needs to take listen to me, Kyle. You passed on Tom Brady. You passed on Aaron Rodgers. You passed on Watson. You passed. This year you passed on Lamar Jackson. How many quarterbacks are you going to pass on because you want your face to be the franchise and not that quarterback? It's we're not playing Madden here. We want to win a Super Bowl. and I want you guys' thoughts. Let's go with John.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you actually just took the information out of my brain. Every coach, when they go to a new team, and I'm getting really frustrated how other organizations commit to a quarterback in the draft, or they bring a quarterback, from free agency, who had probably a bit of a tough time in their early years, but they're able to develop them because they're still quality quarterbacks that had horrible first 4 years, and then they go somewhere else with a new coach, and then they flourish. And Kyle made a big mistake for not getting a quarterback. So
Huge.
that's what you do. And now we're in year 7. And we're still saying Brock Purdy's quarterback 1 or Trey Lance quarterback. We're still doing this thing, which is very irritable. Because I'm like, we have a good team. Like John Lynch, the scouting staff. Let's give Kyle, some credit. He's brought in some offensive players. We've done really well. It's just that he should have brought in a quarterback his first year, and then they could have built around him. Unfortunately, they decide, let's develop the defense first, and then we can just piggyback on the offense. And it doesn't work that way. No disrespect to Jimmy Garoppolo. The people who don't like Jimmy, cover your ears. He wasn't a bad quarterback, but he was limited with the skills that he had. So when I look at how the organization has, dealt, and again, I don't want to sound like a parrot. The Yorks, in my mind, have been very passive how they ran the team since they've owned it. No disrespect to the Yorks, Jed and his family have started to realize, took them a long time, about the NFL is about winning Super Bowls and not just competing 16 games, now 17 games, and then off season and do that all over again. The NFL is a league and a business to win Super Bowls.
Awesome. I think we're all on the same mentality. Let's get a quarterback, right? Jared, what do you think, man?
Being from the Virginia area, the thing that I came up watching, because it was, this is like before cable, if y'all can believe it. The regional area that we had in Richmond, Virginia, was the Washington Redskins. And I really think that Kyle is trying to do it the way one of the greatest coaches that ever did it, Joe Gibbs, did it. Now, Joe Gibbs has the distinction of winning 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. He won with Theismann in 83, Doug Williams in 87, and Mark Rippon, I believe, was in 92, 91 or 92. That takes that it's a rarity. It's so rare that you will have. There will never be another Joe Gibbs, so we can stop all of the speculation. You're not gonna get another Joe Gibbs walking through that door. He's a one of one, and that's simply it. The way you do it, and we've seen it done time and time again, is if you're the head coach, you gotta get your guy at quarterback. And we just made a tremendous, a fatal mistake having Deshaun Watson out there and not even making allowance to go and check out Patrick Mahomes, because when he came in 2017, he just, no, we're gonna do it this way. I think we started off with like Hoyer or something like that.
Yeah.
We get a gift from the gods, Bill Belichick, and some would say a gift, some say a curse, but he had to get rid of James Garoppolo for whatever reason. I know we got some stuff going different reasons, and he had Tom Brady, and they said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna give him to you, San Francisco, because y'all are the opposite coast. You're the opposite conference. I ain't gonna see him. I like the kid. Hey, do y'all want him? We pick him up, and away we went. A couple of injuries here and there, but he won some games. He won a lot of games and got to the pinnacle in Super Bowl. I think it was 54, 7 minutes left, and what happened. We really do have to solidify. We got to be a results-based decision here, that having the guy, a quarterback that you can be sustained upon and is the face of the franchise, the CEO, the one at the top. This is the way it's done. You got to just say, this is it. Protect them, put the weapons around them, and make it happen. Don't tell me all about the labor. Just show me the baby. And for the San Francisco 49ers, the baby is the Lombardi Trophy. This is our standard. It's not the standard for every other team. There's 31 other teams out there, and it's cool for them to just make it to the playoffs some. It's cool for them to just have some wins. It's cool for their quarterback to be really nice and all of that. But we celebrate championships here, and it's just the standard. Some families, their kids don't have to go to college. Some families, their kid don't have to do this, and they don't have to stay out of jail or something. But and ours, you're gonna be the best at what you're gonna be, and that will be final, young man. That's how the San Francisco 49ers are. I don't judge anybody else, but I know what we do here, and we win Super Bowls. So pull your skirt up, hike it on up. No disrespect to women out there, but it's time to get this road closed and do some things, and Kyle's got to take that on and know that pressure of getting it done. I think he's moving towards it. I hope he feels really good with what he's got right there. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Twin.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Terradon, for what you said. Thank you for the beautiful words. Church appreciates it.
Amen.
Another thing we like to say in the good book is Sunday, right? It says in the book of James, 1st chapter, verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And one of the parts of the definition is having in the mind opposite of opposing and different views. A double-minded mind is also a mind of having a double-hearted man as well. His heart is in two different places. You know what I'm saying? He's not consistent. It shows instability. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take a rocket science to say, hey, one of the most unstable positions the 49ers have been what? The quarterback. There's too much data now to say that this was just a one-off. This is more of the regular with our team, And again, this is Kyle. You got to get it right. It's not the mental issue. It's something in his heart where he's on the fence like Mr. Phoenix. If you grew up the age I am, it was a show called Boy Meets World. And it's this wonderful professor by the name of Mr. Feeney. He was always on the fence, and he'll come and talk to Mr. Corey. He'll talk to Topanga. You know what I'm saying? He'll talk to the fellas and say, hey, what up? How y'all doing or whatnot? You know what I'm saying? But he's always on the fence like Mr. Feeney. And I'm sitting here like, look, guy, You have been doing this far too long. You've been in the system of not only being an OC, not only being around football, but also now a head coach too long to be doing the same thing. It's like, no, bro. There's a sense of unfaithfulness that he has. There's a lack of confidence that he has.
Come on.
And you in the what? What's the name? What's one of the nicknames we use nowadays? We are the who?
40 whiners.
And we are the 40 whiners, and we are not looking so faithful when it comes to picking somebody at the quarterback position. We're not that faithful. We have our head on the swivel like a gunner going down on the guy down
punt, covering the punt. Yeah.
Your head looking left to right. You know what I mean?
Better put it on a swivel.
He's not stable with anybody. So I mentioned this to say, like, we've seen this long enough to say, okay, Kyle, you got to stick to something. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter all the talent that we do have around us. All of you guys are men. All you guys probably men of your household. I like to try to tell people. I could talk football all day, but sometimes I like to talk to men where they at so they can feel it here.
Amen.
This is where I got to get to. Now, listen here. Y'all, most of y'all may be married, got an old lady. I like to say I'm from the South. Now, if you meet a woman, y'all start dating. She said, hey, I broke up with my ex. You're like, all right, cool. And she said, hey, but he still live with me. He's still on that lease agreement now. Now we separated, but he still got access to everything in my house. You know what I'm saying? Now look, there's a part of you that go say, she might look good. She might be fine.
Come on.
She might be sweet as some good old red wine. But you be like, hold on now, wait a minute. You saying he's still in the house? Yes, he's still there. Is he leaving anytime soon? Nah, baby, he ain't. The agreement's still for another 8 months. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on. So you talking about last Christmas? He was at the Christmas? Yeah, he was there. At Thanksgiving, did he cut the turkey? Yeah, he cut the turkey. Hold on, wait a minute. So you tell me my family kind of they got memories of him. They know of him.
He preaching.
You see what I'm saying? He passed a potato salad. You know what I'm saying? He told grandma that pecan pie was to die for. All I need was a little ice cream on top of that joke. It was lovely.
I got it.
See what I'm saying? So then when the new fellas say, well, I'm gonna come around to the dinner table, I'm gonna come holler at y'all for look. It's September, right? When football start again. So for Labor Day, I'm gonna come over. They looking like, oh, you got a new man? I thought Sir Johnny was still with you. Now we separated, but he's still in the house. Oh, wait a minute. So who this guy is?
I got a question for Twin.
What's up?
Are you from the South?
I'm from the deep South.
Mississippi, born and bred.
So like I'm from the Bay Area. Like I live just outside of San Francisco, and I grew up in this black neighborhood, and a lot of them are from Louisiana. And
yes, sir.
And they acted the same way you do. So I get a lot of the phrases you're saying.
For sure. So I'm 2 miles outside Louisiana. That's how close. We born on the river. You know what I'm saying? I was born on the river. You know what I'm saying? But so this is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, I understand this, that we got 3 quarterbacks. I hear all of that. But what I'm trying to bring it home is to this. You got a leader of men trying to lead men, and then you got 3 different captains. You know what I'm saying? We got personalities that we mesh with. We have people we like to go look after for seeking wise counsel on. And somebody may seek Brock. Somebody may seek Trace. Somebody may seek Sam. You see what I'm saying? Word. And so at this position, though, they look around other teams that are top 10 teams like we are. They got one single-minded individual that's there. That's the one question we don't have to sit here and argue about. And I'm saying in order for us to take the leap, to me, in my opinion, we have to sit there and put our anchor down on somebody. Yeah. And I tell people this, I'm a Trey guy. But if Trey ain't your guy, let him go. Hey, if you're going to go B to the wall, you know what the other
yeah.
Let him go. You see what I'm saying? Because now you're playing with your food. You're playing with, bro, it ain't time for that. We've been doing this far too long. You 7 years in. You see what I'm saying? Like, get off the couch, pick somebody, you know what I mean? And so that's my thing to the 49ers right now. And listen here, if Brock is your boy, tell Trey to go on by his way. Sam Darnold is your 2, keep Allen. If whatever the case may be. But we cannot think that we're going to go to another year playing musical chairs at the quarterback position and not think that going back, I'm going to tie this thing around. Ain't not now, man, go think once you take her out to dinner, y'all go to the movies, you give her a kiss goodnight. She go back to that old apartment that she once was in. Let thought.
That's all it takes. That's what the devil does. That's his playground.
You gonna sit here and be like, man, I had to leave. Something happened. She going home. She prepped, ready to go, but I had to go. She gonna open that door, my man. Look. Sometimes she may want that own thing back. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and you ain't gonna tell me as a man, y'all ain't gonna have that thought. So you ain't gonna tell me you got a bunch of alpha males or male who are in the top 1% where everybody growing up in middle school, high school, college said you are the guy, you are the one. And now you gotta get into this position here where you gotta sit and you question me. Come on, man. Let's keep it real. That's all I like to keep it real, keep it a buck, keep it 100. We got to get that taken care of.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what's going to happen anywhere else. Y'all ain't tell me what Nick Bosa doing, what Travaris Ward doing, what CMC doing. I ain't worried about none of that. You fix that right there, we bring it home 6. That's all I got to say. I digress.
There you go.
All right, Brian,
Awesome.
I don't mean to cut you off. Great show, but I got to go early. It was nice talking to everybody. Of course, Terra Dome. Nice to meet you, twin. And, of course, my boy McNiner. Have some Ram tears for me. But I'm out.
All right, John.
John
Yes,
Jay,
you're
man.
coming.
Good seeing you or hearing you.
Appreciate
Later,
it.
John Jay.
What do you think, David?
What was the subject? I had a phone call going on.
Oh, no worries. So we were talking about the missing quarterback, the missing piece. You know, since Steve Young, we haven't had really a quarterback to put the ball over the top. We really haven't had a quarterback that can really, truly win. And I was thinking as everybody was talking, there's quarterbacks out there. You look at Brett Favre. Brett Favre was the best player on the team. He was the best player on the field most time. People would come to his stadium, whatever team he was on, and they were playing against Brett Favre and the Packers, right? Brett Favre and the Vikings, right? We won't talk about the Jets. He was playing, you know, and that's who we were. Okay, we got to stop Brett Favre. We got to stop Tom Brady. We got to stop, you know, now it's Patrick Mahomes, right? He's sort of stepping away from the Chiefs because at first the Chiefs were just really solid. And we knew whatever happens, the Chiefs are a solid team. But Patrick Mahomes is now elevating himself where he's putting the team on his back. And it's at this point where you take a coach and coach designs picks a quarterback. You know, we've seen Steve Young didn't work out in Tampa Bay. Brett Favre didn't work out in Atlanta. They moved on to a different coach and they worked out, right? Their coach leaves, they're still the man. So that's what we need we need a quarterback. If Kyle leaves, we still have our guy. We got somebody who can step up on his own and who can carry this team, and people start coming and saying, oh, we're playing oh my gosh, Trey Lance and the 49ers. You know, we're just playing the 49ers. We need a quarterback. So what's your thoughts?
Well, you know, in Kyle's first days, he was going after Kirk Cousins. He was thinking, we're going to get him. And that didn't happen. So he traded for a guy that won, 5 games at the end of 2017. And I was among the 49er Empire members that thought that he was the man, And here we are years later going, no, he wasn't the man, But at the same time, I honestly think we might have this guy on the team right now. And there are 2 possibilities. Now, Sam Darnold, he could be good with us. He really could be, Hopefully he doesn't hit the field. And at this point, I've said this a few times on streams just in the last probably week. Kyle has been with us 7 seasons. And out of those 7 seasons, we have 1 year with a healthy quarterback. So, everyone talks about, hey, he can scheme people open. He can, do this. Scheme the offense to keep the quarterback from getting hit, buddy. Because at this point, you have 1 year out of the 7, you've had a healthy quarterback, and we went to the Super Bowl and didn't win it. So at this point, we need to keep our guys healthy. But I do see the point of we never got that franchise guy when he first started, and that was one of his biggest. That's so far his biggest mistake, because there were a few drafts, we had high draft picks, we could have got a guy like Josh Allen's an example. We actually could have picked him. And then, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, these guys all could have been 49ers. And would that have probably put at least 2 rings in the pocket? Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. It would put 2 more rings. We would be working on hand number 2 by now, and who knows, by the end of their career, might have to have thumb rings made. It's like, but at this point, I honestly believe that we do have 2 guys on our team right now that can play QB, and both of them are young. We haven't seen either of their ceilings, but I'm with that whole deep ball opens up the playbook and makes the defense play honest. That's where I'm at right now. And the one guy still rehabbing from his major surgery, we're not going to see what he can totally do until around when the season starts, because that's just the time frame of his rehab, And yeah, Kyle made a huge mistake not picking one of those QBs that he could have picked that would have been the face of the franchise moving forward.
Hey, I'd like to introduce Dion.
Dion.
Great guy. I only muted you because I think you had a little background noise. Unmute anytime you want. We're going to go to you, get your thoughts on the situation. And then, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and go around the circle one time and let everybody know where we can find each other. Get out of here. Always have fun coming on, talking with everybody. But today we're going to go barbecue for my mother-in-law. Shout out to my mama, Lonnie. And, go cook her up some stuff. Her birthday's in the next day. So I'm going to try to be your favorite son-in-law. And
Happy birthday, Miss Lonnie.
I say it like that because if you're listening, I should be your favorite son-in-law. If I am not, then you did something wrong. Okay. And I'm looking at you boys. My wife, she's got 3 brothers. So I should be the favorite son-in-law, right?
There you go.
So, Dion, go ahead. Let us hear your thoughts. We're talking about quarterback. It's everyone's favorite topic. We want a quarterback. When we leave, we sit down and watch our game. We know who's our quarterback, right? We don't know that right now. If our coach or owner leaves, we still have our quarterback. We know who our quarterback is, right? We want somebody like a Brett Favre, somebody like a Tom Brady, somebody who, when you come to our stadium, like Peyton Manning. And I think that's a really good topic right there. And we'll get your thoughts, and then let's go around and tell everybody where we can find each other. We'll come back and do this again. But we didn't get Peyton Manning. And the reason we didn't get Peyton Manning is why we were still giving Alex his, giving Kaepernick his. We could have had a ring right then. We could have had 2 or 3 rings with Peyton. And I think if we would have had Peyton, Harbaugh doesn't get fired. But what's your thoughts, Dion? Let's hear about, the quarterback situation. We know we have 2 on the team right now. I know how everybody feels about Sam Darnold, but he has that ability to throw it deep. He has that ability, and Trey does too. So without bashing Brock, and I know you're not going to do that, but we need somebody who has that Superman logo on his chest, right? What's your thoughts?
Well, first off, good morning, everybody. Dave, Twin, the Bishop in the house. Always good to see you, good brother.
Good to see you,
Brian. Be honest with you, I think Dave really said everything I was going to say. Like me and Dave been on that same page from day one. Like it's very simple. Whenever you go to a new franchise, you typically do what? You go and get your guy.
To get the guy.
Every coach does that. Yeah. Now, the guy over there in Arizona, he's stuck with Kyler Murray. Nobody's taking that contract. Nobody's taking Kyler Murray. So he doesn't have that option. But typically, when a new coach comes in, the first thing they do is if they see that the quarterback spot is, void of talent, they will go out there and find someone to draft. Now, the crappy part about it is the fact that that didn't happen with Kyle, and to be honest with you, I do feel like we need a guy. We need someone we know week in, week out. That's our dude. He's going to be that guy. Nothing's going to change, and we're going to be fine. We never had that, and it's extremely unfortunate. And it bothers me that he didn't go and get that guy right in the beginning, But at this point, we'll have to see what happens. I think, Breezy, shout out Wayne Breezy, he made a good point as far as stating, because we haven't had a franchise guy, we've been able to keep, a pretty cohesive unit together for the most part. The issue is while we're keeping that cohesive unit together, we are wasting good years of their time. So that's my rebuttal to that. If I don't have a Lombardi to provide you after all that time that you've been here, what good is it? At this point, you just, you played at a high level, you got paid at a high level, and that's all you're going to wind up with. If there's one thing that I could tell you Dan Marino would give anything for, it's a Super Bowl ring. Hell, the man tried to trade his soul for a Super Bowl ring in Little Nicky, and the devil wouldn't do it because he was a Jets fan. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's that as much as people say it doesn't matter, and shout out Russell Westbrook, shout out UCLA. As much as you say it don't matter, it does. In the back of your mind, to reach the pinnacle of your professional sport and win that championship does mean a lot to everyone. And though it should be everyone's idea to start the season off and go, you know what? We got to go get, a Lombardi. Yes, that's everyone's idea, but we all know it's not a realistic expectation. There are only certain teams that are going to be fighting for that Lombardi. And I'm sorry, when you say that you want to go somewhere and you want to win or you want to be competitive, you have to really truthfully pick a competitive team. Perfect example. Y'all remember Steven Jackson? I know you do.
Yeah,
he used to run all over us, god dang it. I mean, every single week that man was out there just running through anyone in his path. The man had the nerve to get on national television. And when they asked him why he left the Rams, he said he got tired of losing. It took you 2 contracts in 8 years to figure out the Rams wasn't doing nothing outside of you. No, sir, you were getting paid. And a ring did not matter to you. That meant nothing to your legacy. You were getting money. Because he got in before the new CBA, so he got a ridiculous contract. And then he got the second ridiculous contract. But by then, after that contract had expired, all the tread was worn off his tires, and now we don't need you anymore. Let's move on to Todd Gurley. Long story short, man, we do need a franchise guy. I would love for Trey to be that person. It's not going to happen. Brock Purdy is the guy barring any setbacks or injuries. I know this. I've come to terms with it. It kind of is what it is. I've stated my feelings on how Kyle is and how his father is. They both have a preference, and that's fine. But the only thing I would like Kyle to do is stop with the quarterback carousel. We can't keep doing that every year hoping to win the Super Bowl. Exactly. There's no continuity built like that. You think Peyton Manning spent all that time in Indy, and when he finally got that first one, he was happy. But you know what he had done throughout those years? Built continuity with his team. Y'all know Peyton Manning had his offensive line speaking Gaelic just so the defenders didn't know what they were doing when he was speaking, calling out different things on the line for different people to do. That's innovative. I'm going to teach you a whole different language ain't nobody even thinking about. Learn it, understand it, live it, love it. That's how we're going to win games. But Kyle has seemed to have been able to find a way to get some success the last couple of years without having consistency at that position. Now, that's fine, but at the end of the day, it hasn't yielded the result all of us are looking for. Not everyone has seen, that's doing content creating has seen an actual 49er Super Bowl for real. If you was born after 1995, you ain't seen nothing. You've seen us fail twice. And that's hurtful and unfortunate. I've seen us win 4 times. I was a baby when we won the first one, so I ain't even know. But at the end of the day, we do need a solid, consistent quarterback. Next year, the number one thing I don't want is, number one, us to go home without a Lombardi. And number two, us to go into another season saying we don't know who the hell the quarterback is. I would really love for Kyle to get up to the podium and be able to state, yeah, we had a great season. We won the Super Bowl. Brock is our guy going forward. I don't mind that. Do I like Trey Lance? Do I want him to succeed? Yes. Yes, all these things are true. But if you keep it a buck with me, I can trust you. And that's what I need Kyle to do. Regain my trust by just getting up there and saying it, man, it's cool. You don't have to go week to week. Well, we're not sure. I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow. Kyle. Okay, stop. You don't have to be cynical, sir. At the end of the day, just tell us. And I mean, hell, if Brock wins the Super Bowl, by all means, it's your job. If we have a Nick Foles situation and we get to the playoffs, Brock gets hurt, but Trey just takes us on a magical ride, hey, at the end of the day, bro, I'm sorry. If I'm Trey Lance and I win the Super Bowl, I'm going to look dead at him and go, you put me on the bench for that fool, I guarantee you I'm asked for a trade. I just took you to the pinnacle you've been trying to get you. I just gave you something that's been very elusive. 2 times in your career, you've been to the mountaintop and you have not been able to clear it. I just got you over that hump and you about to sit me for the 7th round? No, that's what we're not doing. But it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with this throughout this year. And we just going to continue to hope and pray that one of these dudes takes the reins, never gives it back, and we can have some consistency, for at least a couple years in a row.
Well said. Again, not every time do people come on do we all agree, but nobody has to disagree either or bash anyone in opinion in a certain way. And that's why I love this show, because we have a lot of good guys that come on with good opinions and good moral values. We don't come in and cuss each other out, and we're all very passionate about our team. Corey Davis, thank you very much for coming. We're going to wrap up the show here in a few minutes. I want to get your thoughts on the situation. We need a man who can stand up, and when you see him on the field, you're going to go to play that guy. There's 11 guys on the team, 22 guys, 53-man roster. We can start breaking down all the numbers, but what we're getting at is when you come into the Niner Stadium, we need that man who's confident, exceeds himself, and brings the confidence to the team. The fans see it. The other teams know it. We need somebody like Brett Favre. We need somebody like, I'm going to say, Aaron Rodgers. We need somebody who can stand up, and that's Superman. I don't see why we haven't done it. We played around with Brian Hoyer. We could have went and got Phillip Rivers. We could have went and got Big Ben possibly at the end of his career. I know he's a Steeler and he's made it clear, but you wave enough money in front of somebody's face and say you can win a ring, sometimes they look at that bling and they just go, hey, I'm coming. So what's your thoughts? And then we're going to go ahead and go to Terradome Twin. We'll go to David and Niner Gang Podcast, because everybody, I'm going to put the links in the descriptions. I want you to come back, follow my guys here. Please like, subscribe, and they do things on other channels too. So you want to make sure that you turn your notifications on for their channel, because these guys are really fun, and I appreciate you guys. And this is what the Faithful's about, coming together, being able to talk football, having good energy, and hopefully you can enjoy a nice cup of coffee. So Corey, what's your thoughts?
Oh, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I'm so late. I went to the hospital last night, got new medication. Had me sleeping.
Good sleep.
Oh boy. I've been wanting this. I want a quarterback that the defense fear. The other opponent's team fear to come play the 49ers because they're a quarterback. They say, we got to stop this quarterback. We got to stop Debo. We got to stop this. We got to stop that. And hopefully, maybe Brock Purdy's going to be that person. Only thing I can do right now is pray. I can't think about who we could have. It didn't happen. I wish it would have happened that we have found that person. Just like Dave McKnight said over there. When I thought when Jimmy came in one of those 5 games, I was on the Jimmy train. I was hyped for Jimmy. But look, he wasn't the guy. Now he's the Raiders' problem. So I'm looking forward. Hopefully, maybe Brock Purdy's the person. Just like Deion said, I know it's going to be him. I can't say Trey. I can pray that Trey, but I know right now it's Brock Purdy. So get my mind set and ready for Brock Purdy to cheer him on. Hopefully, he's that person. He's that guy that we were looking for. He's our Joe Montana, our Steve Young. See, that's who we had that put other teams in fear to stop. We had Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig. We had Brent Jones, all these weapons that we had. Now, we got a lot of weapons on our offense. We just need that one person that could put us over the top. And we need to have that quarterback. We need to say, like Deion said, we need Cal to come out there and say, Brock Purdy, you are a guy. We're sticking with you. We're going with you. You took a Super Bowl and won it. If he didn't do it, Trey did it. Trey Lance, you are our quarterback. We're with you. No more this seesaw. No more this every season wondering who's our quarterback. We know.
Corey, man, well said. Real quick, will you tell everybody where we can find you, what you have going on your channel, and then we're gonna get everybody's final thoughts. Great panel, guys. Really awesome. If anybody in the chat wants to ever come on, you just letting us know. I have a ability to bring a lot of people on. We want to keep it, as polite as possible, but sometimes, you got to express yourself. So if you say, something, remember, we're all friends. We can come back, but we don't want to do anything that is inappropriate. We want to keep it clean. So, Corey, you have a show tonight, right, on your channel, Lockdown Corey Davis?
Yes, tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I'm doing the results of the trivia. Who went 15-0? Who need their 49 fan card taken away from them? Because they went 3-12. So
I can tell you this: I ain't challenging Corey on the trivia. Oh, that is smoke I don't want. No, thank you.
Someone seriously, this book is easy. Someone went 3-12.
yes.
Oh man.
So if you guys don't know, Corey does a trivia show on Thursday nights. It's a lot of fun. You can guess in the panel, you can be in the panel or you can be in the chat, and Corey writes out records everything. And then on Sundays he comes back, and then it's for about an hour or so, and they record, lets everybody know their scores, and then lets everybody know, hey, you might need your fan card taken, so it's a lot of fun. You can always earn it back. You just got to come back and put down some good numbers. So Deion, since you came in, let's go to you next. Let's know what's going on with your channel, and what else you got going on.
Content creation about to start ramping up here. You know what I'm saying? Especially next week. We get these joint practices with the Raiders in Vegas and whatnot. So definitely going to see what we got going on. We're definitely going to start doing some more cross promotions. as far as like speaking with some of our opponents and whatnot and seeing what they feel. Still working on trying to get a couple of these NFC West cats to come work with me so we can talk full team and figure out where people's heads are at, since we know this division is literally decided by us and the Seahawks. The Rams and the Cardinals are afterthoughts. We all know that. Even if the Rams somehow think they're going to win games, I have no idea why. But that's basically what's going on with my channel. We all know Cardinal fans. They just have understood that they are going back into mediocrity as they have always been, and that, there's not going to be much hope. So if anybody is coming to the Cardinals game, holla at your boy. I will be there. My ticket has already been purchased. I plan on, rocking out and doing my thing. I'll probably hang out with some of the guys from the shout out John Chapman and the Gold Rush 49ers Rush Gold podcast. So we'll definitely be hanging out with them and get to meet Breezy and whatnot. So if you're coming to AZ, holla at your boy. We'll definitely link up, hang out, get some food. And just remember, even though you're in Arizona, this is still 49er land. We have chapters every damn where. So it doesn't matter what part of Arizona you're in. There's going to be one of us somewhere.
Awesome, man. We're going to be looking at that. That's a lot of fun. I heard you talking to Wayne the other day, too, so that was really cool. Definitely be the Uber guy or the Lyft driver. Appreciate that because, that's what friends do. When somebody's coming in and the town, where to go get, something good to eat, you help buddies out. Mr. McNiner, what do you got going on, buddy?
Well, tonight I'm going to be on the, Corey Davis channel, the Trivia Award show. And then tomorrow night, it's the Niners Coast to Coast podcast going on. And we're going to be I still don't know if we're going to be on the Bryant Culp channel or the Stay Faithful podcast. But it's going to be one of the two. Then, of course, we got the Culp and McNiner show, which we're not exactly sure who's going to be on or exactly when we're doing it, but it will happen at some point. And then, Corey Davis, the trivia show Thursday night. It's the last of this book. So we will be finishing the book and then, probably starting into the joint practices and talking about, more 49ers things on Thursday nights. Then, we'll just have to see what happens for the rest of the week.
Awesome. Really do appreciate that. And we'll definitely put out the links and notifications for upcoming things.
Hold on. We got to shout out every Saturday night, Ladies of the Empire on Tony Culp. Everyone needs to show up because that's a great show.
Oh, yeah. If you guys didn't see it last night, that's fine. YouTube's recorded. If you go and watch just a few minutes, these ladies are fun. They are so fun. Beautiful women, beautiful smiles. They have great laughs. Very intelligent. They're talking 49ers, and I just sat there and I really did. I had so much fun in the chat the whole time. Twin, man, I can't tell you thank you enough. You keep coming in. I appreciate you. You got great energy. You're very knowledgeable. And I got to tell you, anytime you want to come, the door's open for you. Thank you, man. So
I appreciate you, man. I thank you for having that wonderful Walmart door. As long as you step up to it, it'll open right up to you. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for having me on today. Big ups to UBC, Terry Dawn, David McNiner, Niner Gang, and my boy Lockdown with Davis as well. I became a subscriber to the ladies yesterday, so big up to all the ladies in the chat. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for putting on a wonderful show. I'm glad I'm subscribed to your channel as well. Again, my channel is Twin Empire. You can catch me on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe to the channel. Running a lot that like button, you know what I'm saying? Kick it with your boys sometimes. I definitely will enjoy you guys. I'll probably be on a couple of shows coming up this week. Me and my brother, his name is Law Nation, probably gonna try to do a show on this Thursday. It's called the Bearded Bros Podcast. I don't know why it's called the Bearded Bros Podcast, but it's probably dealing with something with beards and brothers, you know what I'm saying? But y'all come through, check us out. Usually either Wednesday or Thursday around 7 or 8 o'clock. So we're gonna hop on there and do that. I kind of do a little spontaneous guest appearance here and there. So I can't tell you when it's going to happen. I just, come on, do a feature whenever I can. I do have a collection of kids around here that kind of keeps me busy, And so whenever I get in, I'll make sure I post it on Twitter or do a notification here on YouTube. But just catch me on there. Y'all make sure y'all continue to like my boy BC channel, subscribe as well. Thank you guys for having me on this wonderful Sunday. And that's it.
Man, thank you so much. And yes, please go check out Law Nation and Twin. They have a great show. You'll check them out. You'll be laughing. You'll be having fun, and they bring knowledge and good energy. And that's what it's about. Being happy when you're watching something. And entertained. And again, if you can walk away with some knowledge, that's most important. But Twin and his brother, oh my gosh, you guys are killing it. You guys are really killing it. Terradome, my buddy, my brother. Man, you just keep coming on as well. I really do appreciate you, and Dion as well. You're awesome, man. You guys are always welcome. Just appreciate it. Terradome, so you've been getting bigger and bigger. Your channel's just growing. You're starting to do like morning shows. I'm trying to catch them as often as I can. Dude, I just gotta say, keep grinding. Thank you very much for coming. Please to let everybody know a little bit about your channel, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to this barbecue.
I'm on Terradome on YouTube. I usually do it weekday mornings. I'm pushing right around 9 or 10 during the morning, man. And I just go for about an hour discussing what's on Twitter, what's hot, what's not, different takes, and anything that we have related to family, faith, football, films, what's hot on TV. I talk about that as well. And phonetically, I love talking about music. So if you like some old school music here or there, classic rap, yacht rock, I'm well versed in everything. We talk a little bit about relationships sometimes, man, because it's hard out here being a man for a lot of us. So hey, I get it in like that, man. So just having a lot of good fun, and I just enjoy jumping on anybody's chat who. Hey, if you say, hey, jump Terradome, man, Terradome, come on in here. I show up like a DMX did on his mixtapes before he dropped the album. You know what I'm saying? Dion has been on before. He said, man, I don't even want to go on after Terradome, man.
No.
Like,
People, listen, don't follow Terradome. Don't do it. Don't try to follow him. It's not fair. It's no, that'd be like somebody saying, do you want to get on the field and run after CMC just ran a 90-yard TD? I have no business doing any of that, and I'm not going to try. But next time you talk music, you definitely holler at me, TD. I am there because I like everything. I listen to a little bit of everything, man. And believe you me, music, oh man, it's good for the soul.
Love it, man. Oh, and by the way, let me shout my man Rod Cali. Man, he's a DJ. If y'all haven't subscribed to his channel, he be on Twitter live. I'm at the job with the headphones on, going off. He just and you gotta, Mr. Terror, is everything okay? I'm like, oh yeah. But he's smooth with it, man, and I just enjoy all the content creations. My man Brian Cup, man, you always just open the door for us, man. You make it cool, you make it sound. Dion McNiner. And I gotta get my locked on right, because Corey Davis will take your card. You will if you don't answer them trivia questions right. Corey is a card taker. He's like the state trooper after you've been speeding about 120 miles an hour in a 55. You no longer have your license, young man. Go ahead and hand it on over. So I'm checking you out tonight, man. Love to see you guys, man. Love each and every one of you and everybody in the faithful. I ain't got nothing but tremendous love for you.
All right. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. Real quick, I believe tomorrow's show, Aaron, 49ers First Take, David McNiner, Ty Austin, we all get together and we do a show now on Mondays. So it's about an hour, sometimes a little longer. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock California time, about 5:15, because I need a couple minutes to get home. So then we go live and, we have a lot of fun. We are trying to rotate the channel so it goes on to everybody's channel. David just had his first episode, his first video this Monday. And tomorrow, I think we're going to push Ty to do it on his channel. So we will have all that together in the links and the descriptions. And, I will be pushing it on my Twitter, put it on my Facebook. You guys will be able to find it. And then, yes, Wednesday we do try to do a show, me and David, and we have guests. If you guys ever want to come on as a guest, we can talk about that. Always appreciate people coming on, having a little bit of smaller of a show to have more of an interview style. And our guest will be John, and I'm try to not butcher his name, but John La Jolla. That's who our guest is this Wednesday, and it's going to be great. It's always great. And then please check out Corey tonight, and you guys just turn on notifications, please, if you like. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Come back. I'm putting the descriptions in for everybody here. And go ahead, guys.
And real fast, if y'all any praying men and women out there, keep my family in prayers. We lost our mother yesterday, so keep my family in prayers or whatnot. And we greatly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys.
Oh, man, hey, for real, man. Prayers out for you and your family, brother.
One second, brother.
Sorry to hear that.
Brothers, I have to listen to when God tells me something, and he just said right now, if y'all can give me 30 seconds of your time. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we ask right now for your comfort. We ask for the strength of Twins family, Lord God. Lord God, let them know and let them reside on nothing but good memories they had with Mom, Lord God. Heavenly Father, you stepped out of nowhere, said something, and created everything. And right now, we're asking all of the power and the grace of the Holy Spirit to be upon this family, Lord God. Let them know in their hearts and in their minds that absent from the body is present with the Lord, Lord God. There is no more crying. There's no more pain. There's no more suffering where she is. Let her see her family having joy, Lord God. Let them inhabit where she did and how she did it, Lord God. She gave a beautiful, lasting legacy. And we ask for these things, Lord God, because you're our strength, our healer, and our redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much,
man. I know that's big, man.
Prayers to you, Twin, and everyone. Thank you. Please stay faithful. Remember, family, God, 49ers, or whatever team you like to support. That's fine. But remember, we're all human. We want to treat each other that way. And hope to see you guys next time. Enjoy. Have a good cup of coffee, and we'll talk to you guys all.
If you need anything, Twin, hit me up, man.
Hit the kid up.
Before we go real quick, I want to tell East Coast Red and Gold, thank you very much. Major shout outs to them and Matty Bias. His family is also they just received a blessing, and it's so awesome. So a little boy is going to be getting better, and they were so nice. They really were. They hooked me and my wife up during their show. We won the raffle. We got tickets to go to a game. And I also want to shout this team out as well. This is a YouTube channel. If you guys ever get a chance to go check them out, they do a lot of different information, a lot of different sports. I'm going to put it over the overlay real quick. But I won, so it's really neat. So I definitely want to give them their So this is them. It's Better in Green. So if you go check them out, they do all kinds of different things, but they had built like a draft kit. And, you see my name right there, Bryant Culp. So I have won, and I'm going to reach out to him and figure it out because I do play fantasy football, and it's a lot of fun. I play with a lot of people you guys know, so it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys again for going. Stay faithful, and we'll hope to see you guys next time. Go Niners.
Amen. Go Niners.
Niners.
Go Niners and F the Lambs.